Hey guys, it's Bill from Linden, Tennessee. Well, here it is, the tractor, all taken apart. This took kind of a long time. Um, there's there's really a lot of pieces on here. I think I can put it back together. The rest of the stuff is over here. I've gone through and painted some stuff, made some little brackets. This is going to be the bracket that holds the wires that go back to the power takeoff. Speaking of power takeoff, I keep saying that. I think you understand what I'm talking about, but if you don't, this is my other tractor. And it's just that. It's just that right there. Just a 48-volt output. And there's a switch here. And then just a little speed control here with a rheostat. That's what's on my dashboard. So that's all that is. It's a power takeoff. So that's what runs my bush hog and wood chipper and all kinds of other stuff. And I'm going to have one coming out of the front as well. That's what this one's for. And then this little bracket here, this is going to bolt to the top of the transmission. And this is where the battery cables come in from the battery to here. And then one set will go to the back and one set will go to the front. So that's what that is. And these are my little brake caliper brackets. They're all welded up. The bracket for the steering push rod, I kind of cleaned it up a little bit. It was kind of rough. And drive shaft, bearings, all the PTO parts. This back part here, I may end up painting that orange. I think that may look better orange because it's quite a big piece and it's right on the end of the machine. I might tape this part off, the receiver hitch off, and keep it black, but paint the rest of that orange. I'm probably going to do that. And a wiring harness. That's the front half of the wiring harness. It came out in one piece like I was hoping. What to do now? There's still some stuff. I've still got my list here. I've sort of added a few things to it. I want to round off the bottom pivot. So that's these here. These are just, they're just chunks. So I want to cut those corners off and sort of round it over a little bit. And likewise on this side here, cut those corners off and round it over a little bit. Not too much, but just to kind of clean it up a little bit. And fill unused holes in the frame. I've been keeping all the screws in the holes of the frame as much as possible, thinking that at this point I could go back and fill in all the ones that I didn't need. And I may still do that because some of them I know I don't need, like that one there. I don't need that one. I definitely don't need that one. I could fill these ones on the bottom in. These two for sure I need. This one I don't. And so on, that one and that one. But there are some that I'm not quite sure of. And boy, it'd be a real bummer to fill something in that didn't need to be filled in. So I don't know. I'm gonna think on that for a little while. Weld the steering plate. So that's this bottom part here. So this is the plate where the steering mechanism connects to, but it's also where the front of the power takeoff actuator welds to. So I need to weld down here really good. I need to weld up here really good and on the top side. And then there's a lot of force going to be pushing on this. This is where all the force of the weight of any implement that's on there is going to be pushing on it. So I want to make sure that this top plate is really well welded and gusseted and held in there good. I got my steering mechanism in there now so that I know where I can't put like a gusset, but it looks like I'll be able to triangulate something right about here. So that'll be good. I'll definitely weld up right there in that seam and that gap, fill that in, get some good weld in there. Gotta be a little bit careful because my screws are back here for my body work, so I can't go nuts, but I can weld where those screws aren't. So, and then this side will be easy to put like a nice gusset on it. So that needs to be done. Coolant fitting guards, yeah. So these here, I need to make I think it's just going to be something simple. I may tap into this existing piece right here and make a removable guard that just sort of protects these fittings from debris. I could just extend from here, just extend a plate that goes back. I don't know how I'm going to do that, but I need to do that. And brake junction studs. So where this here gizmo, so where that goes, that actually bolts to the bottom, right in the back here, or somewhere. I don't know where it goes. Anyway, it bolts to something. No, it goes right here. It goes right there. So I'm gonna drill and tap those holes out bigger, out to like quarter inch, quarter 20, and make that a lot tougher, because those, I had little bitty 832 or something, and they actually did already bend, and I haven't even done anything with it, and they already bent. So yeah, that's that. And still a whole bunch of stuff to paint orange. I ran out of orange paint, so I had to stop, and I also ran out of black paint, so I had to stop with that too. But that's it. And then of course the motor in here. I'm really thinking that I'm going to do this. I'm going to take this end cap off, and then there's 4 long screws that go all the way through this, and then there's a bearing end bell on here, and you take that end bell out, and you can pull the rotor out, and then you just have this thing here. And I think I'm going to paint this orange. Tape off this sticker and then tape this off so these don't get painted. But I think I'm going to paint this orange. I think that would look very cool and really finish it off nice. Yeah, it would be kind of a pain in the butt. But these motors are super, super simple. There's like nothing to come apart. They just, there's nothing to break. There's a bearing on this end, a bearing on that side, and like I said, a bell end on that side. That comes off, the rotor comes out, and that's it. There's only 3 pieces. So I think I'm going to do that because I think it'd look fabulous. Yeah. I believe that is it. And I have this input shaft all apart. So obviously this is where the power goes into the transmission. And at the moment, I have this coupler on here, and it's just a friction coupler. So there's just those 4 little Allen screws, and it's just holding friction on a 17 millimeter shaft. That's the only thing that's holding the torque from the motor going into the transmission. Now that'd be good enough for most of the time, but at some point, it's quite likely that will fail. So what I've done is on this side, whenever I go to put this back together, I'll run through how I've done this, but I've taken the input shaft, the actual gear that goes into this transmission, I've taken it out, and the plan was to machine a key slot in it, but it's really, really hard, so that's not going to happen. So what I'm going to end up doing is just getting my angle grinder and very carefully machining my own key slot in it, and then on the coupler I'll broach a keyway into it, and then broach a keyway in the drive shaft here on both sides. So that is going to happen, and that will be much, much better. Then there's no fear of it slipping. And the next weakest link is what will break, and I suspect that's probably the differentials. The drag race boys, they use, I think, 31 spline axles and differentials to beef these things up, and I have not upgraded to that. So that's probably the next weakest link, and that's probably what's going to break for me. And when it does that, when it comes to that, then I'll give those boys a call and ask them what can I do, and we'll go from there. So, all right, guys. Well, thanks for sticking with me. It's been kind of a crazy trip. I'm a little scared right now looking at this and all these pieces. It's crazy how many pieces there are. I have to go on this crazy trip to New Jersey over the next couple days. Tomorrow's going to be so hectic. I have to leave here really early, catch a plane, get to Newark, figure out where I'm going, get to the place where I have to do some work, figure out what needs to be done and how to do it. And theoretically, it's a 10-minute job, and I hope it is. So in the meantime, appreciate you watching, and we'll see you next time.